وقل رب زدني علما.
What was my evidence? What was my evidence, brother? What was my evidence?
Okay. Your evidence was an opinion.
No, what was my evidence?
You said that God...
I didn't say God.
You said that...
What evidence did you
said something cannot come from nothing. That's your evidence.
No, I said the fact that you exist, the fact that you are something, the universe is something, that something cannot come from absolute nothingness.
Who buys that? Who buys that? Put your hands up. Who buys that?
It makes sense.
Everyone. Put your hands up then.
The only logical answer, mate.
Put your hands up then.
Only logical answer.
Put your hands up then.
Yes.
Who buys it? Everyone.
Everyone. Who buys it? Turn the camera around. Who buys that argument? Who buys it?
Everyone. Yes, everyone except you.
Everyone except you. Why are you the odd one out?
50-50.
Not 50.
Yeah.
You're the odd one out. Okay. Who doesn't buy? Who doesn't buy it? Ask them. Who doesn't buy? Who accepts your opinion?
Who doesn't buy?
Who among here accepts your opinion?
None of them. Not everyone put their hand up. Not everyone
Who
put their
supports
hand
you, Kim?
up.
Someone who supports him, put your hands up.
Please.
Nobody.
Nobody, you're alone, my friend.
Who thinks?
You alone.
Who believes in God?
You alone.
God here.
The question about who believes in God. Now, I'm talking about. Do you see how?
No one believes in God. Put your hands up.
Excuse me.
Come on.
Do you see what?
Who believes in God?
You're having a discussion with him. You're having a discussion with him.
Right. But he didn't agree with you though earlier on. Even though he doesn't believe in God, he didn't agree with you.
I'm not atheist. I'm agnostic.
Good.
Yeah.
No problem.
There is God.
Sure.
But also, I can't prove that there isn't a God.
Sure. But this gentleman said, what is my proof about God?
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to give you a rational argument.
Well, how is that evidence?
Excuse me.
No.
Yeah, there's no evidence.
No evidence. There's no evidence.
There is no
What I
evidence.
said, no, did you hear my argument?
Yeah.
I said my rational argument is
Not
this.
argument, it's evidence.
This universe is an evidence for the creator. Why do I say that? Because this universe could not come from absolute nothingness. There's nothing in the universe that we observe and we have evidence of that it pops into existence from absolute nothing. So, there is something that is required to bring about something else. If this universe is something now, there has to be always something in the future, in the past.
Why can't it be an infinite particle that reproduces itself constantly?
Okay.
Why does it have to be a thinking God?
Now you've made some improvement. Let's continue. You have a small, or you have a particle that created all of these things. Did that particle willingly, with an intent, create this universe, or it just happened?
It doesn't happen.
Did it just happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Possibly, yeah.
So possible. So now I'm going to give you some examples, right? Some examples.
Well, that's the thing.
Wait. I want to understand your reasoning, because are you being consistent? In our reality, do you see, without intent, without organization, without planning, without engineering and blueprints, complex things come into existence? For example, think about any of the objects that you see here. Your shoes, your bag, your shirt, your trousers, this umbrella, these cameras, this stand, right? Okay? Anything that this earpiece, headphones, and the goggles, pen, watches. Enough of the examples given. Have you seen evidence of these things, mundane things? They are very, very infinitely less complex than the universe and its organization. Have you seen these things came into existence just by particle? There was a particle there in a factory and that particle just made it? Or there was organization, thinking, planning, intelligence, will behind it?
You see, if there's a particle that's infinitely complex, just by pure chance, it can create other things that are very complex. There's no thinking required behind. There's no reason behind it.
So we can get an umbrella from somewhere in a junkyard, just like that, right? According to your logic, part particles were there. Look, particles of silica, particles of iron, manganese, dust, and so on. They were all around in a junkyard. According to your logic.
No.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay, let me finish.
Evolution.
Let me finish. Evolution has nothing to do with my umbrella, my friend. I'm not sure who taught you evolution. Evolution is about biological systems. This is not biology. This is matter and material. Physics and chemistry.
That's biological.
So, this is a species, right? What species is it?
No. This is still
Is that alive? Is that alive?
It's still, yeah, of course it is.
Oh, he's alive. He's alive.
He laughed, but no. He laughed.
I apologize.
No. But
I didn't know he was alive.
No.
Now I know.
But Al-Mawdudi says this is alive.
Oh, so Al-Mawdud.
Yeah.
You can debunk Al-Mawdud, no problem. But you're having a discussion with me.
Mawdudi said umbrella is alive.
Says what I just said.
You know what? Listen.
So
Your logical thinking so far is this. You debunk Lawrence Krauss, which you didn't, but you could. And you debunk Mawdudi and, Ghazali and Fawzan. Every other individual apart from me. You're having a discussion with them or with me? I'm surprised to understand really what's
why don't
Secondly,
how many have you converted to Islam?
Listen.
How many of you?
Secondly, it's called beating around the bush now, right? Going into different tangents. Now, when I asked you about this umbrella, right? According to listen, maybe I'm not, but you need to stick to the topic. When I said about this umbrella, according to your ways of thinking, your enlightened ways of thinking,
Not enlightened.
okay, ignorant ways of thinking,
It's not ignorant.
okay, your ways of thinking, really, according to your ways of thinking, this umbrella can come perfectly from some particles in a junkyard. This sophisticated camera called stuff for HD, my God, high definition, can come from a junkyard with some particles there. According to your logic, absolutely possible. Is that what you're suggesting?
It's possible.
How? Go on, describe.
I'll tell you why. When you look at very complex beginnings, okay, when evolution, I know you're going to say, oh, it's all biological, but what they've discovered, okay, is that when things evolve, they have a certain criteria. There are certain things that can and can't do. There are restrictions, okay, and there are some parts that are very random. So actually, evolution isn't completely random. There is some order to it, okay, which is why things have certain shapes, sizes, and different complexities, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is science. But since you cannot follow the scientific method, you cannot agree with what I'm trying to say, because these are physical limitations. Okay, but you have to then accept, okay, my perspective. Okay, now if you're going to counter-argue this, you're going to have to come from a metaphysical argument, because you don't believe in science. Okay, because you have to then prove that Muhammad was a prophet, that the Quran was some divine inspiration that came into a physical being. You cannot turn around and say, well, that's ignorant, you don't know what you're talking about, that's not science, because you said you cannot use science to convince anyone that there's a creator. Okay, that's my point, because a metaphysical and a non-metaphysical argument will never work. It'll never work. Material and non-material will never work. You'll always part way, and there'll be no progress, because you believe in a supernatural understanding of the universe, not a scientific one. Okay, that's my perspective.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction. Now answer the question.
That's my answer.
What was my question? How do you explain an umbrella?
I told you.
Excuse me, let me finish. Now you're interrupting. I didn't interrupt you when you said.
Well, you've interrupted me many times.
But when you were making your explanation, did I interrupt? Did I interrupt? I didn't interrupt. I let you explain. So, when I'm now assessing your explanation, I asked you about how does particles in a junkyard give rise to an umbrella by itself?
And the camera, high definition, you see.
Yeah, sure. But I just focus on this. Oh yeah, high definition camera. Your answer is different. perspective.
No,
blah,
no,
blah,
no,
blah.
no, no,
You're
no,
interrupting
no.
again.
I'll
rudely.
tell you.
No, no, and
Can I
no,
ask
no.
the question?
That means you haven't answered it.
Let me ask.
Did you answer it earlier on? Excuse me, did you answer it earlier on?
I did. I did.
So good.
But I'm trying to rephrase it so you can understand
I
it.
don't want you to rephrase it. Let me now understand what you just said so far. Because you've answered it to your satisfaction. So you said about blah, 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 waffle, this, this. You didn't even give me a mechanism through which particles by themselves can organize by themselves and produce an umbrella.
That's man-made. That's man-made.
You're
That's
interrupting again. You're interrupting again. A high definition camera. You said it's possible. Your feasibility or possibility and the explanation that you offered, if I was the examiner on the math, I'm sorry, I will fail you with a 0. I would be very harsh.
That's fine.
No, I will be very harsh. Why? Because instead of giving an answer, you were just preaching about all about this and that. That's what you did. So now let me ask you one more time to give you the opportunity again. How do you account for this high definition camera?
Man-made.
Wait for what? Let me finish my point. This camera, if I was to give you a piece like this, can something like this, a generic version, not patented by Apple or Samsung, a generic version, you don't know who made it.
This is getting very tiresome. It's getting very tiresome.
I know why.
Listen.
Listen.
That is a man-made object.
Excuse me.
It's a man-made object.
Excuse me. Listen. You failing to deal with the arguments of the theists and the Muslims, you are resorting to, this is what you're resorting to? Ad hominem, irrelevance, boring, emotions, I'm tired of the go. Listen, if you came here in Speaker's Corner to really challenge the Muslims and their belief concepts,
I did, and you ignored everything I threw at you. No. I said to you.
Are you going to let me finish?
No.
Are you going to let me finish?
No, I'm not actually.
Are you going to be rude and not let me finish?
No.
Are you going to be uncivilized
that
and not let me finish?
Muhammad sat with his wife watching 600 to 800 Jews being beheaded, and suddenly he wants a discussion about Lawrence Krauss and evolution and how the 480 started. These Muslims, they do not want to face criticism. They do not want to face criticism.
Brothers, I did not mention myself.
I'm going to finish with this. I'm going to finish with this. I'm going to
don't run away.
Answer my question. Answer my question.
I am. Allow me to finish.
Okay. Why did Muhammad watch 600 to 800 Jews being beheaded as he sat with his child wife? Why did he do that?
I wasn't there.
Why did answer that question now? Answer it now.
Now? Like this?
Answer it now.
Good. Now,
I've been for half an hour being very patient. I've been very patient with you. I've been very patient with you. Okay, you now have to tell me why was Muhammad happy to sit there watching 600 to 800 Jews' throats being slit? And by the way, who dug those trenches? Who dug those trenches? No. Who dug those trenches? Who dug those?
are you finished?
Who dug the question?
One question at a time. Yes. How many questions?
Let him answer now.
Who dug those trenches?
How many times? Space, right?
Who dug the trenches? Okay. If you can't answer this question, I'm going to go. I got better things to do. Let's talk about Muslims than Muslims who don't answer the question. Muslims who don't answer the question. Okay? Who dug the trenches where the Jews' heads were thrown into the trenches? Who dug the trenches? Tell me, for everyone to hear on camera, who dug the trenches according to Ibn Ishaq, who dug the trenches? No. Answer the question.
He answers the way he wants.
No. There's a one-word answer for this. There's a one-word answer for this. It's a one-word answer. Answer it now. Otherwise I'm going. And I'll tell the answer when I leave.
Now I've got two fingers. Right.
Who dug the trenches? See?
Yeah. They got is a deceiver. They got a deceiver. They got a bushman.
Who dug the trenches? Who dug the trenches?
Okay, I'm answering.
Who dug the trenches? Who dug the trenches? Who dug it? Tell me. It's one word. It's one word. It's always game. Tell me. It's one word. It's one person's name. It's one person's name. It's one person's name. Tell me. Come on. The camera. It's one person's name. Who dug the trenches? Oh. Muslim caught on camera. Muhammad. Muhammad dug the trenches. Leave him, okay? Go. Just go. Muhammad dug the trenches, okay?
With the shower.
Sadly, he did.
Don't run like a rat. Come on.
Okay. So Ibn Ishaq.
Just shake it. SubhanAllah, you nearly. You know what?
Calm down a bit.
Emotions. You can't even think straight. Look, you nearly hurt a Muslim sister who's pregnant.
And this is why Islam has a problem. Islam has a problem.
No, it's not a problem. People who are very inconsiderate. Yes. Excuse me, brother. Now, to answer the question.
No.
Oh, he says no. He asked me a question and says, no, you can't answer.
Muhammad dug the trenches.
Listen.
Muhammad dug.
Do you want me to answer the question?
He can't defend himself then.
Who thinks Muhammad did
Oh,
what?
he's now moving to ask someone else.
Muhammad dug the trenches.
I think you're wasting your time and so.
Of course. No, we want to show. By the way, listen, I'm going to summarize it. We want
You
to
can
show.
go, brother.
We want to show. If you allow me to answer, I will. Otherwise.
Okay, and I don't want a half an hour diversion into Lawrence Krauss and Richard Dawkins.
I didn't bring Lawrence Krauss.
Okay.
You did.
Just tell me.
You're the culprit.
Okay.
You bring him.
Muhammad dug the trenches. Explain. Muhammad
Your
dug the trenches.
first question was
No.
about.
See.
You don't want your question answered. You asked the question. You asked the question.
I can't touch you
Look,
now. Okay.
you can't. Because you nearly damaged a pregnant woman with a child.
Here we go.
So I don't want you to be very emotional. Because you might break my shoulder, right?
Emotional blackmail as usual. You see?
So, do you want me to answer the question or not?
Answer it then.
Good. Are you going to keep quiet?
In 60 seconds,
Are you gonna
answer
keep
the
quiet?
question.
Oh, 60 seconds.
Yeah.
You are the rudest dictator I've come across in my life. 60 seconds.
Tell me.
No, I answer my way. If you don't like it, you can walk away because you're wasting your time. As you said.
Go on.
So, my way, right?
Yeah.
Good. You asked me, because you're diverting everything, answer the question about Prophet ﷺ with his wife, sitting there with a cushion and seeing all the Jewish heads being beheaded. Now, my question to you is simply this. These stories that are narrated in history books, how do you think they're authentic? Because I know many of these narrations are inauthentic because they do not have a sahih chain of narration. You brought one individual, just a name, and he then gave a book. Look, I will go and study his book when the time permits, but until then, you've just made an open claim. You haven't given me the reasons why this is authentic because there's a sahih chain in the narrations. What I know from my studies already, these stories do not have a sound chain of narration. So what you are arguing is on a very weak premise. You're interrupting me again. On a weak foundation, you are blaming Muslims and Islam and somehow excuse me.
This is Islam.
I'm not finished. I haven't finished. If you're enough, you can go.
This is why I left the stupid, depraved.
No, I know you left. Because you left your brain before you left Islam.
It's a depraved.
No.
You're allowed your
There's no
opinion.
point insulting.
You're allowed your opinion.
Now to summarize, since this individual who claimed to be a Muslim, clearly this was an emotional reaction. His attachment to Islam was not based on knowledge, understanding, or comprehension, purely based on hatred and perhaps love for the material world and love for the dunya, love for liberalism. That's why often people become an atheist. So when we talk about people who chose this religion about atheism, We confronted, because he said, you know why I moved on from this? Because he considers my religion, Islam, to be rubbish. But he loves to talk about rubbish. He says, no, if it's rubbish, leave it. Let's talk about what you dearly hold, which is to be true. Your outlook in life, your ideology, your philosophy, and see whether this is the truth. He failed miserably, time and time again, to justify anything about his belief about this universe, the origin of this universe, the creation of this universe. Instead, he's trying to say, oh, this is waffling and this waffling. You think that's what it is exactly? So this is why we see atheism is just a reaction to some emotional problem people have. He may have been brought up with something and then he didn't like it. He has some experience with Muslims or Islamic society, or he doesn't like Islamic laws perhaps. And that's why he brought up this, oh, the Prophet beheaded the Jews. Now, who comes in the issue here? The Jewish people. So whether he's on the payroll, on the dole of the Jewish people, or he loves the Jews for whatever reasons against the Muslims, or he doesn't like the moral character of the Prophet. How can the Prophet somehow agree on, and a disputed story, agree on beheading of the Jewish people in Banu Qurayza? What he doesn't realize is, these people of the Banu Qurayza, what we know, they what happened? They committed treachery. They broke a pact of, we call, we're going to shower. There was a pact of, a pact of some kind, right? That we should not fight against this, we should not ally and move with them and help them and support them against the Muslims and so on. So broke the treaty, or treaty I'm talking about. They broke the treaty. And then they were captured, besieged, and only thing they could do is now say, okay, fine, whatever happens to us, we will accept. The Prophet allowed arbitration. He said, you arbitrate whoever you want. Someone can decide for you on your behalf what's going to happen to you. They chose themselves a person which was an ally to them. I mentioned his name, Sa'ad. He decided and they happily accepted. So that's the end of the story. Whatever verdict that person gave, they accepted it. And we know that verdict came from their own book.
Deuteronomy.
The book of Deuteronomy. Yeah. Where, when, I don't have to quote Deuteronomy now, but this is very clearly, this is the law that they believe in. So when they were besieged, and then they are conquered, and they are now going to face a punishment, their law tells us very clearly what to do. And this is exactly what was arbitrated by the arbitrator. And they haven't accepted it. But this individual comes along, somehow throws a lot of waffling on the scene, saying somehow this is immoral. This is perfectly moral. The Jewish people, they are saying, we are happy to accept this because it's in line with what God has ordained. So this is a judgment of God that they are happy with. You are not happy with because for some reason, you know what, they chose, you look at the mentality. The whole history, he would say, I'm not happy with.
Do you agree he has the right to hit what he believes?
Look, he has the right to believe in anything. If he wants to believe the moon is made out of cheese, I say believe it whatever you want to believe. No problem, believe in it.
I used to be a Catholic, when I was young. I believed in God, I believed in Jesus. I don't now, that's my choice. In the same way that you have the choice to believe in God. And I don't want to say, because I can't prove your side is wrong. I don't know.
He came along to say, your religion is rubbish, and your religion is crap. Precise words he used, right? Right. I didn't say his religion is crap or rubbish. I said, let's analyze your religion if it's so nice, so believable. And then what was demonstrated is he has nothing to offer about his religion. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this is the reality of atheism. Listen, that's atheism. You're an agnostic. We can talk another time. We'll have another discussion. Thank you. All right.